Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the best and worst Webtoons tropes. I just want to preface this by saying that this is all subjective, entirely my opinion, and everything I say is based on my own personal reading preferences. Some of my favorites are probably not the most popular, and some of the ones that I really don't like, a lot of people love. So don't take it too serious, just have fun, and let's get into it. Starting out strong. One that I know a lot of people do not like, but I personally love, and that is the toxic male lead. Yes, I am a fan. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I love drama. A toxic male lead, the drama just delivers. There's nothing like it. You cannot convince me that you get the same level of thrill and rush and drama and tea with a green flag.
I can't believe you tried to kill me.
Yes, well, I feel badly about that.
You cannot convince me. I refuse. I rebuke it. I am a yandere zealot. Don't get me wrong. I love my fluffy stories. I do. But there's just something about a little bit of a toxic, messy story that just offers something a little bit different.
She thinks that I owe her an apology. Good thing she don't get paid for thinking.
And not to mention, it's more relatable. Like, again, personal preferences. I'm talking about me, myself, and I. Not him, not her, not them, not they. Me. M-E. Me. And to me, these stories are just more relatable. Make of that what you will. If you, like me, grew up in a difficult household, you can kind of relate to these protagonists because you kind of know what it's like to be in close proximity with someone who seems to be able to enact any level of toxic behavior unchecked, and you kind of don't have the luxury or freedom to kind of just go off and say whatever you want to say or just get up and leave, because at the end of the day you're still reliant on them for food, for shelter, for access to education, sometimes even to just bond and have human connection. And there's something about reading about a protagonist who's in a similar predicament that's just a little bit more relatable. For the next trope, I'm gonna need my fellow Fujoshi to come to the front. It pains me. It pains me to say this because I love plenty of stories that have this trope. But it's the uke in debt, okay? Now listen, listen, listen. Like I said, I love, would reread, and recommend plenty of stories that have this trope. All I'm asking, all I'm asking is, can we shake it up a bit? Like, can we remix it sometime? Because the way that it's implemented is almost the exact same across all stories that you see the trope in. It's almost never the case that the debt is accumulated by the protagonist as a result of their own actions, but rather it's some extenuating circumstances that they just have no control over, such as a family member dying and leaving them with a bunch of debt, or they're taking on the medical expenses for a loved one and they just have to go into debt to pay it. Or even in some cases, someone will just straight up forge their signature, take the money and skip town, and then leave them with the burden of paying the debt. They usually have some type of loan shark after them, just some aggressive collection agency. And of course, they can't pay it off on their little convenience store salary. So they end up having to go find themselves a little glucose guardian to offset the fund.
I was shocked, honey. I was in tears almost. And they had a white refrigerator. I was like, oh, not a white refrigerator. Girl, please put your shoes on. Let's go find you a home, honey. Ooh.
It happens in like every single story. All I'm saying is, like, can we please shake it up? Mix it up just a bit, just a tiny little bit. The next trope that I love is the runaway arc. When you read stories that has a toxic male lead, the best part of the story, hands down, is the runaway arc. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? The reason the runaway arc is so good is because you get to see a character who's been acting a fool for like 50 straight chapters finally have egg on their face when they realize like actions have consequences, which like apparently no one ever taught them in life.
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I
See what I'm saying?
I thought.
No, so you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
It's kind of like you get to revel in the fact that in a situation where your words and actions seem to carry almost no weight, it's the absence of those things that actually proves your point. Like, if they can't behave, they just don't get access to you. It can't last long enough for me. I know some people like, oh, hurry up, I want the reunion. No, No reunion. Just drag it out, dude. Drag it out. Okay. I got all day. I got all day. I have nowhere to be. I have nowhere to be. I am sat. For this trope, I am sat. This next trope may ruffle some feathers, and that is the love triangle. Yes, yes, yes. You heard me correctly. The love triangle. I just love the drama. I eat it up. I am obsessed with a good love triangle. And let me tell you something. Ever since I was a kid, out of all the genres, I'm talking comedy, mystery, horror, hands down, my genre of choice was drama. And a love triangle certainly delivers on the drama. Another part of it for me is just the nostalgia factor that a love triangle delivers. Because if you grew up in the late 2000s, early 2010s, you could not consume one piece of teen popular media that did not have a love triangle. I'm talking Hunger Games, Twilight, Vampire Diaries. And for me, Twilight is where it all began. Team Edward versus Team Jacob, you just had to be there. I'm so sorry. Like if you missed it, there's no amount of like explanation that could help you understand the virality. And there's just something about a love triangle even now that just hits. What I love most about it when featured in a webtoon is that it kind of gives you a glimpse into the future of what the protagonist's life may look like, depending on which male lead they choose. Because generally speaking, the two options tend to be pitted against each other and are two complete and total opposites. So it's kind of just fun to play around with the idea of what could be. Okay, so the next trope might be a tad bit controversial because I personally know so many people who love, love, love this trope, but I just can't get behind it, and that is the forgotten childhood friend trope. To clarify, I'm not talking about the childhood friend trope, but specifically the forgotten childhood friend trope. I'm talking about you read through 70 chapters of ups and downs and makeups and breakups and angst, only to discover that they actually known each other since they were 3 years old and they just both forgot that one time they shared crayons in kindergarten. I mean, it's not literally always that, but sometimes they'll just throw in out of nowhere some like past chance encounter or some type of event where they were like so monumental and meaningful in each other's lives, so monumental and meaningful that they just forgot about each other entirely. Or I guess they didn't forget the interaction, but they didn't recognize the person when they met again. I hate it. Oh, I feel bad because I love to love things, but I can't get behind this one because it's something about going through the journey of seeing someone's entire relationship progression and the ups and downs and everything they had to do to get to the point where they're at, only to kind of undermine it, basically implying that it was just fate all along, which is then it's like, what's the point? Like, why did I? If it's meant to be, what was the point of any of it? And it's not even that I don't like fate in stories, because I do, but that's when it's more like mystical and fantastical. Like you met this person in a past life and you found each other again. Something that's just more grand than like you sat next to them on the bus in 8th grade and they were nice. I think the thing that bothers me about this trope the most is it's unavoidable because it's kind of a spoiler. It's not something that's tagged like, oh, if I see something that's horror, I'm not a big horror fan, I can just skip the story, read something else. But no, 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 no. It's always a reveal. So you'll be reading something for like 40 straight chapters only to discover that, oh, they actually met each other back in preschool.
I just want to go home.
My thing is this. If it wasn't important enough for them to remember it, don't show it to me. The next trope on my not so favorites list is the secretly evil second male lead. To be clear, I'm not talking about a male lead who we know he's evil. Even if the protagonist doesn't, we know that he's a bad person. We know that he's scheming behind the scenes. No, 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 no. I'm talking about the one that the author literally makes you love and root for, only to kneecap you with some just completely out of character sabotage that's just like, you just hate us. Like you just hate that we love this character, so you just had to sabotage them. You just had to like make them randomly a cheater. You just had to like make them secretly the person who like killed the protagonist's parents. You just had to.
Rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from
Yes.
I don't know if it's like set in stone, but sometimes I just have an inkling. It's no, there's no proof of this, okay? It's all alleged, it's all conspiratorial. But I just have an inkling that sometimes, especially with these original series that's not based on a novel, they'll see that the audience is like loving a second male lead, and like the author doesn't want the audience to want that person for the protagonist, so they'll just like sabotage them. Like I just there's no way that you gave us this man, this beautiful, glorious man, and then just all of a sudden, he's like secretly evil.
This is fucking bullshit. Excuse my language. No, fuck it. Don't excuse it. This is bullshit.
The amount of times I've had egg on my face for like going so hard for a character only for them to literally just be kneecapped. Another trope I love, and hopefully this one is one we can all agree on, okay? It's fun for the whole family, and that is the makeover trope. Oh, there's something about a good makeover when a protagonist goes from drab to fab that is just so 2000s rom-coms, just so nostalgic. I just love the fashion in some of these webtoons. It's fun, it's girly, it's lighthearted. You can't go wrong with a good old school makeover. The next trope on the chopping block is the friendless female lead. I'm specifically talking about those isekai types of stories where all the other women in the series are presented as a villain or an antagonist, and if the female lead does make friends, it usually has to be a maid, a house staff, or someone else in a position of servitude. Of course, there's nothing wrong with having friendships across different social classes. However, the way that the female lead slash maid friendship is often presented seems very, very one-sided and imbalanced. So in these dynamics, it seems as though the maid character is almost always ready and willing to do any and everything for the female lead, including risking their own life. But that same energy is rarely reciprocated. Alternatively, when women are within the same peer group or social class as the female lead, they're presented as rivals or villains or kind of people to watch out for. And these two dynamics existing within the same story somewhat carry the undertone that you can only truly consider someone a friend if they're subservient to you. But if they're your social equal, they're automatically a rival. And again, like with most of these tropes, I still read and enjoy stories that have this kind of narrative to them. It's just not my favorite thing. That's all I have today on tropes. Let me know if you agreed or disagreed down below. And if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. It's my very first video. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm really grateful that you stuck around. Again, thank you so much for watching my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.